playwright Sophocles. Please remember to turn off all of your electronic devices as it may disrupt the actors. And remember, no flash photography is permitted. Thank you for coming, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Many, dear sister, you would think that we had suffered enough already for the curse on Oedipus. And I cannot imagine any grief that you and I have not gone through. And now, have they told you of the new decree of our king Creon?
I know nothing. I know that 2 sisters lost 2 brothers. Double death in a single hour. And that the Argive army fled in the night, but beyond this, nothing.
I thought so. And that is why I wanted you to come out here with me. There is something that we must do.
Why do you speak so strangely?
Listen, Ismene. Creon buried our brother Eteocles with military honors, gave him a soldier's funeral and right that he should, but Polynices, who fought as bravely but died as miserably. They say that Creon has sworn no one shall bury him, no one mourn for him, but his body must lie in the fields as a sweet treasure for carrion birds to find as they search for food. That is what they say. And our good Creon is coming here to announce it publicly. And the penalty? Stoning to death in the public square. But now, you must decide what you are. A true sister or a traitor to your family.
Antigone, you are mad! What can I possibly do?
You must decide whether you will help me or not.
I don't understand you. Help you in what?
I am going to bury him. Will you come?
Bury him? You've just said that the new law forbids it.
He is my brother, and he is your brother too.
Think of the danger. Think what Creon will do.
Creon is not strong enough to stand in my way.
Oh, sister. Oedipus died. Everyone hating him for his own search brought to light. His eyes ripped out by his own hands. And Jocasta died. His mother and wife at once. She twisted the cords that strangled her life. Our 2 brothers died. And we are all that's left, Antigone. Think how much more terrible our deaths would be if we should go against Creon and do what he has forbidden. We're only women. We cannot fight with men, Antigone. I beg the dead to forgive me, but I am helpless. I must yield to those in authority. I think it is dangerous business to be always meddling.
If that is what you think, then I should not want you, even if you ask to come. You've made your choice, and you can be what you want to be, but as for me, I will bury him. And if that means death, I will lie in death with him and be as dear to him as he is to me. It is the dead, not the living, who make the longest demands. We die forever. But you can do what you like, since apparently the laws of the gods mean nothing to you.
The laws of the gods mean a great deal to me, but I have no strength to break laws that will make for public good.
That must be your excuse, I suppose. But as for me, I will bury the brother I love.
Antigone, I am so afraid for you.
You need not be. You have yourself to consider after all.
But you must tell no one of this. No one. I will keep it a secret, I promise.
Tell it. Tell everyone. And think how they'll hate you when it all comes out if they learn that you knew about it all the time.
So fiery. You should be cold with fear.
Perhaps. But I am only doing what I must.
But can you do it? I say you cannot.
Very well. When my my strength gives out, I shall do no more.
Impossible things should not be tried at all.
Go away, Ismene. I shall be hating you soon. And the dead will too. I must not be afraid of danger if it means death. It will not be the worst of death. Death without honor.
Go then, if you feel that you must. You are unwise, but a loyal friend indeed to those who love you.
The long blade of the sun, lying level east to west, touches with glory thieves of 7 gates. Open, unlidded eye of golden day. A marching light across the eddy and rush of Deersea stream, striking the white shields of the enemy, thrown headlong backward into the blaze of morning.
Polynices, their commander, roused them with witty phrases. He, the eagle, screamed insults above our land. His crest, their shield. His wings, their marshaled helms.
Against all 7 gates in yawning ring, the famished spears came on within the night. But before our jaws were sated with his blood or pine fire to garland of our towers, he was thrown back. And as he turned, great Thebes, no tender victim for his noisy power, rose like a dragon behind him shining war.
For God hates utterly the bray of bragging tongues, and when he beheld their smiling, their swagger of golden hymns, the frown of his thunder blessed the first men from our walls. We heard a shout of triumph high in the air, turned to a scream. And far out in the flaming arc he fell with his windy torch, and the earth struck him. And others, storming in a fury no less than his, found shock of death in the dusty joy of battle. 7 captains at 7 gates yielded their clanging arms to the god that bends the battle line and breaks it. These 2, brothers in blood, face to face in matchless rage, clash in a long combat.
But now, on this beautiful morning of victory, the thieves of many chariots sing for joy, have hearts for dancing, we'll take leave of war. Our temples may be sweet with hymns of praise, and long nights shall echo with our chorus.
But here is our new king, Creon, in this auspicious dawn of his rising. What are the new complexities that shifting fate has woven for him? What is his counsel, and why has he summoned the citizens here to hear him?
Citizen, I have the honor to inform you that our ship of state, which recent storms have threatened to destroy, has finally come to harbor at last, guided by the merciful wisdom of heaven. I have summoned you here this morning because I can depend upon you. Your devotion to King Laos was absolute. You never hesitated in your duty to our late King Oedipus. And when Oedipus died, loyalty was transferred to his children. Unfortunately, as you know, his 2 sons, the princes Eteocles and Polynices, have killed each other in battle. And I, as the next in line, have arisen to the full power of the throne. I'm aware, of course, that no ruler can expect complete loyalty from his subjects until he has been proven in office. Nevertheless, I say at the very outset that I have nothing but contempt for the kind of governor who is afraid to do what he knows is best for the state, and for the man who puts private friendship above the public welfare. For I have no use for him either. I would have no dealings with an enemy of the people. No one values friendship more highly than I. But we must remember that friends made at the risk of wrecking our ship are no true friends at all. This is why I've made the following decision regarding the sons of Venus. Eteocles, who died as a man should die, fighting for his country. Eteocles shall be buried with full military honors, with all the ceremony that is present when the greatest heroes die. But Polynices, who broke his exile to return to his native city with fire and sword against the shrines of his father's gods, whose one idea was to spill the blood of his own blood, sell his own people into slavery. Polynices, I say, is to have no burial. No man is to touch him or to the very least prayer for him. He shall lie out on the plains, and the birds and scavenging dogs can do with him whatever they like. This is my command, and you can see the wisdom behind it. As long as I am king, no traitor is to be honored with a loyal man. Whoever shows through deed that he is on the side of the state shall have my respect while he is living and my reverence while he is dead.
If that is your will, Creon, we are yours.
This is my will. Take care that you do your part.
We are old. Let the young ones carry it out.
I do not mean that. The centuries have already been appointed.
Then what is it that you would have us do?
You will give no support to any man that breaks this law.
Only a crazy man in love with death.
And death it is. Yet money talks. And the wisest have sometimes been known to count a few coins too many.
Oh, King, I'll not say that I'm out of breath from running, King, but every time I stop to think about what I have to tell you, I felt like going back. And all the while, a voice kept saying, "Fool, don't you know you're walking straight into trouble?" And another voice said, "Don't you know you're going to get it worse than that, even if you sell Creon?" But good sense won out, and at least I hope it was good sense. And here I am telling a story that makes no sense at all, but I tell it anyhow, because you know what they say, what's going to happen is going to happen.
Oh, come to the point! What have you to say?
I did not do it, I did not see who did it, you must not punish me for something someone else has done.
A comprehensive defense. More effective, perhaps, if I knew its purpose. Come, what is it?
A dreadful thing, I don't know how to put it.
Out with it!
Well then, a dead man, Polynices, out there, new dust on slimy flesh. Someone has given it a burial this way and gone.
And the man who dare do this, where?
I swear I do not know, you must believe me. Listen, the ground was dry, not a sign of digging, no, not a real track in the dust. It was when they relieved us this morning. One of them, the corporal, pointed to it, and the strangest look. The body just mounted over with light dust, not buried really, but just enough for the ghost's peace. No signs of digging or any wild animals. And then, what a scene there was. Every man of us accusing the other. We all had proof that the other one did it. We all had proof that the other one couldn't do it. We were ready to take the hot iron and hands walk through fire. Swear by all gods, it was not I. I do not know who it was, but it was not I. And then, when this came to nothing, someone said a thing that silenced us all and made us stare at the ground. You had to be told the news, and one of us had to do it. So the dice was thrown in. Bad luck fell to me, so here I am, no happier to be here than you are to have me. No one likes the man who brings bad news.
I've been thinking, King. Can it be the gods that have done this?
Oh, stop! Stop! Must you, doddering wrecks, go out we serve them. Try to loot their temples, burn their images, yes, and the whole state and its laws with it. Is it in your senile opinion that the gods love to favor bad men? Pious thought. No. Ever since the beginning, there have been those who have schemed against me. Stiff-necked anarchists, whispering against me in the alleys. These are the men. And they've bribed my own God to do this thing. Money. Money. There is nothing in the world so demoralizing as money. Down go your cities! Homes gone! Men gone! Honest hearts corrupted! Crookedness of all kinds! And all for money. But you, I swear to God and by the throne of God that the man who has done this thing shall pay for it. Find that man. Bring him to me, or your death will be the least of your words. I'll string you up. Alive! And there'll be certain ways to discover your employer before you die. And perhaps this shall teach you a lesson that you seem to have missed. The dearest prophet is sometimes all too dear. Well, that depends on the source. Do you understand? A fortune won is often misfortune.
King, may I speak?
Your very voice distresses me.
Are you sure that it is my voice and not your conscience?
Oh, he wants to analyze me now.
It is not what I say, but what has been done that hurts you.
You talk too much.
Maybe. But I've done nothing.
Sold your soul for some silver. That's all you've done.
How dreadful it is when the right judge judges wrong.
Your figures of speech may entertain you now. But if you do not bring me the man, you will gain little profit from it in the end.
Bring me the man.
I want nothing more than to bring him a man. But bring him or not, you have seen the last of me here. At any rate, I am safe.
Numberless are the royal stormers, but none more wonderful than men. The stormer is the yields to his prows. Huge crests bear him high. Earth holy and inexhaustible is graven with shining furrows, where his clouds have gone year after year. What a timeless labor of stallions.
The light-boned bird, and beast that cleans the cover. The light fish lighting its way through dim water. All are taken, tamed in the net of his mind. The lion on the hill, the horse's winded mane, resigns him and the blunt yoke broken, the sultry shoulders of the mountain bull.
Words also and thoughts as rapid as air. He fashions to his good use. Statecraft is his. And his the skill that deflects the arrows of snow, the spears of the winter rain. He secures himself from all but one. In the late wind of death, he cannot stand.
O clear intelligence, force beyond all measure. O fate of man, working both good and evil. When the laws are kept, how proudly his city stands. When the laws are broken, what of his city then? Never may the anarchic man find rest at my heart. Never be it said that my thoughts are his thoughts.
But what is this? Surely this is the Princess Antigone? Why should she be taken?
Here's the guilty one. We caught her in the very act of burying him. Where's Creon?
Just coming from the house.
What has happened? Why are you back so soon?
Oh, King, a man should never be too sure of anything. I would have sworn you would have never seen me here again. Your anger frightens me so, and the things you threaten me with. But who could tell I'd be able to solve the case so soon? No dice throwing this time, and I was only too glad to come. Here's the guilty one. Take her, question her, judge her as you will. I am through with the whole thing, and I am glad of it.
But this is Antigone. Why have you brought her here?
She was burying him, I tell you.
Is this the truth?
I saw it with my own eyes. Can I say more?
Come! The details! Tell me quickly!
It was like this. After those terrible threats of yours, King, we went back to the body to brush the dust off. The flesh was slimy and stinky by now, so we went uphill to windward and keep guard. No napping this time. We were all keeping the other awake. But nothing happened until the white round sun whirled in the center of the sky above us. And suddenly, a storm of dust roared up from the earth. The sky went out. The plains with their trees vanished. We closed our eyes to endure the stinging dark. The storm lasted a long while, but it passed. And then there was Antigone. I have seen a mother bird come back to a stripped nest, heard crying in a bitter note or two for the young ones just lost. Just so when this girl found the bare corpse and all her love's work just wasted. She gathered dust and sprinkled wine 3 times over her brother's ghost. We ran and took her at once. She wasn't afraid. Even when we charged her with what she had done, she denied nothing. This was a comfort to me, but somehow an uneasiness, for it is a good thing to escape death, but no great pleasure to bring it upon a good friend. But, you know, as I always say, there is nothing so comfortable as your own safe skin.
And you, Antigone, you with your head hanging, do you confess to this thing?
I do. I deny nothing.
You may go. Tell me briefly, have you heard my proclamation touching this matter?
It was public. Could I help hearing it?
And yet you dare defy my law.
I dared. It was not God's proclamation. That final justice that rules the world below makes no such laws. Your edict, King, was strong, but all your strength is weakness against the immortal, unrecorded laws of God. I knew that I must die even without your decree, for I am only mortal. And if I must die now before it is my time to die, surely this is no hardship. Could anyone, living as I live with evil all about me, think death less than a friend? My death is of no importance. But if I left my brother lying in death unburied, then I should have suffered. Now I do not. You laugh at me. Creon, think me a fool if you like, but may it well be that a fool convicts me of folly.
Like father, like daughter. Both headstrong and deaf to reason. She has never learned to yield.
Then she has much to learn. The inflexible heart breaks first. The toughest iron cracks first. And the wildest horses bend their necks at the slightest curve. Pride. And a slave. This girl is charged with double insolence, breaking the given laws and boasting of it. Sister's child. A more sister's child. Or even closer yet in blood. She sister win bitter death for this. Go, some of you, arrest his maid. You'll find her sniffling away in the house there. Mine is a traitor. The crimes kept in the dark soon cry for light, and the guardian brain shuddered. But what worse is this than brazen boasting of bare-faced anarchy?
Creon, what more do you want than my dead?
Nothing. That gives me everything.
Then I beg you, kill me. All this talking is a great weariness to me, and your words are bitter to me. And I'm sure mine seem so to you, and yet they should not seem so. I should have praise and honor for what I have done. All these people here would praise me were their lips not frozen shut in fear of you.
And you are alone here in that opinion.
No, they are with me, but they keep their tongues in leash.
Maybe. But you are guilty, and they are not.
There is no guilt and reverence for the dead.
But Antigone, was he not your brother?
My brother too?
And yet you insult his memory.
The dead man will not say that I insulted.
Oh, but he would. For you honor a traitor as much as him.
Traitor or not, his own brother and equal in blood.
He made war on his country. Antigone defended it.
Nevertheless, their honors do all the dead.
But not as much for the wicked as for the just.
Creon, which of us can say what the gods hold wicked?
An enemy is an enemy, even dead.
It is my nature to join in love, not hate.
If you must have your love, go. Find it. Find it in hell.
You see, there's many moments. Tears that fall from her eyes are sisters, and the clouds that shadow her are filled with pain and sorrow.
You choose, men. Snake in my own house, sucking my blood stealthily. And all the while I never knew that these two sisters were aiming for my throat. Ismene, do you confess your share in this crime or deny it? Answer me!
Yes! If she will let me say so. I am guilty.
No, Ismene, you will not help me, and I will not have you help me.
Now I know what you meant, and I am here to join you, to take my share of punishment.
The dead and the gods who rule the dead know whose act this was. Words are not friends.
Do you refuse me, Antigone? I want to die with you. I too have a duty that I must discharge to the dead.
You shall not lessen my debt by sharing it.
What do I care for life when you are dead?
Ask Creon, since you're always hanging on his opinions.
You are laughing at me. Why, Antigone?
It's a joyless laughter, Ismene.
Can I do nothing?
Yes, save yourself. I will not envy you. There are those that will praise you, and I deserve honor too.
You're equally guilty.
No more, Ismene. You are alive, but I belong to death.
Citizens, I beg you to observe these girls. One of them has just lost her mind. The other has never a mind at all.
Grief teaches the steadiest minds to waver, King.
Yours sure did. When you assumed guilt with the guilty.
How was I supposed to live without her?
Oh, you are. She is already dead.
Your own son's bride.
There are places enough for him to push his plow.
Oh,
A I want no wicked women for my sons.
Oh, dear Haman, how your father wrongs you.
I want no more of this childish talk of marriage.
Do you really intend to steal this girl from your son?
No. Why, death will do that for me.
Then she must die?
You dazzle me. But enough of this talk. You there, arrest these two, for they are but women. And even the bravest men run when they see death come.
Fortunate is a man who has never tasted God's vengeance. But once the anger of heaven is struck, thou shalt shake it forever. Damnation rises behind each child like a wave questing out the black northeast when the long darkness under the sea roars up and bursts, drumming death upon the wind-whipped sand.
I have seen this gathering sorrow from time long past loom upon Oedipus's children. Generation from generation takes the compulsive rage of the enemy god. And just so lately, this last flower of Oedipus's line drank the sunlight. But now a passionate word and a handful of dust have closed up all of its beauty.
What mortal arrogance just sends the wrath of Zeus? Sleep could not lower him, nor the effortless long months of timeless gods. But he's young forever, in his house of shining day of high Olympus. All that is, and shall be, and all the past is his. No pride on earth is free of the curse of heaven.
The strange dreams of men may bring them ghost joy, but as they drowse, waking embers burn them, or they walk with fixed eyes as blind men walk. But ancient wisdom speaks for our own time. Fate works most for woe, with folly's fair show. Man's little pleasure is the spring of sorrow.
But here's Haman, king, the last of all of your sons. Is it grief for Antigone that brings him here? And bitterness at being robbed of his bride?
We shall soon see. And no need for diviners. Son! You have heard my judgment on that girl. Have you come here hating me, or have you come with love and with deference, whatever I do?
Father, I am your son, and you are my God. You make things clear for me. No marriage means more to me than your continuing wisdom.
Good, good. That is the way to behave, my son. Subordinate everything else to your father's will. This is what man prays for. That he may have sons dutiful and attentive in his house. Each one hating his father's enemies, honoring his father's friends. But if his sons fail, if they turn out unprofitable, what has he fathered but trouble for himself and amusement for the malicious? So you are right not to lose your head over this woman. Your pleasure with her would soon go cold, Haman, and then you'd have a hellcat in bed and elsewhere. Let her find her husband in heaven. Only she has had contempt for my law and broke it. You don't want me to appear weak in front of my own people. Go back on my sworn word. And I will not. The girl died. I suppose she'll plead family ties. Well, let her. If I permit my own family to rebel, how shall I earn the world's obedience? Show me the man who keeps his cards in hand. He is fit for public authority. Haman. The man who knows how to obey, knows how to give commands when the time comes. He'll stick it out. He's a good soldier, no matter how fast the arrows fly. Anarchy, anarchy! Show me a greater evil! This is why cities fall and great houses tumble. This is what scatters armies. Good lives, good men are made so by discipline. So we shall keep the laws and the lawmakers, and no woman shall seduce us. It is the woman stronger than we.
Unless time has rusted my wits, what do you say, King? It's said with point and dignity.
Father, reason is God's crowning gift to man. And you are right of warning me against losing mine. I shall not say, no, I shall never want to say that you have reasoned badly. However, there are other people who can reason, and it might be helpful to listen to them. You are not in a position to know everything that people say and do, or what they feel. Your temper terrifies. See, everyone will tell you what you like to hear, but I, at any rate, can listen. I've heard them muttering and whispering in the dark about this girl. They say no woman has ever died so shameful a death. And all for a generous act. She covered her brother's body. Well, is this indecent? She kept dogs and vultures from him. What, is this a crime? Death? No, she should have all the honor we can give her. Now see, this is how they talk out there in the city. You must believe me. Nothing comes closer to me than your happiness. I mean, what else could? Must not any son value his father's fortune as his father does his? I beg you, do not be unchangeable. Do not believe that you alone can be right. The man who thinks that only he has the power to reason, the gift to speak, the soul, a man like that, when you know him, turns out empty. Look, in flood times, some trees bend, and because they bend, even their twigs are safe, while stubborn trees are torn up, roots and all. Well, the same thing happens in sailing. Make your sheets fast, never slacken, then over you go, head over heels and under, and there's your voyage. Forget that you are angry. Let yourself be moved. Look, I know I am young, but please, listen to me. The ideal condition would be, I admit, that men should be right by instinct. But since we are all too likely to go astray, the proper thing to do is to listen to those who can teach.
You should listen to him, King. If what he said is sensible, and you, Haman, must listen to your father. You both speak well.
You consider it right for a man of my years and experience to go to school, to a boy.
Well, no, if I am wrong. But if I am young and right, then what does my age matter?
You consider it right to stand up for an anarchist?
No, I pay no respect to criminals.
Then she is not a criminal.
Well, the city would deny it to a person.
And the city proposes to teach me how to rule.
Who is it talking like a boy now?
My voice is the one voice giving commands in this city.
It is no city if it takes orders from one voice.
The state is the king.
Yes, if the state is a desert.
This boy, it seems, has sold out to a woman.
Well, if you were a woman, my concern's only for you.
Oh, so you're concerned in a public brawl with your father.
And how about you in a public brawl with justice?
With justice, when all that I do is within my right.
No, you have no right trampling over God's right.
Adolescent fool, taken in by a woman.
No, you will never see me taken in by anything vile.
Oh, but every word that you say is for her.
And for you! And for me. And for the gods under the earth.
And you will never marry her while she lives.
She must die. But I warn you, her death will cause another.
Have you lost your senses? What? Is this an open threat?
No. There is no threat when speaking to emptiness.
You will regret this superior tone of yours. You are the empty one.
You know, if you were not my father, I would say you were perverse.
Fool, don't play words with me, boy.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I forgot. See, you prefer silence!
I swear to God that you will watch it! I swear you shall! Bring her out! Bring the girl out and let her die before his eyes! Her and her bridegroom beside her!
No! She will not die here, King. And you will never see my face again. Go on, ranting and raving. As long as you got friends who adore you.
Gone. Creon, a young man in a rage, is dangerous.
Let him do! Or dream to do more than a man can. He shall not save these girls from death.
These girls? You sentenced them both?
No, you are right. I will not kill the ones whose hands are clean.
But Antigone.
I will drag her into the wilderness myself and lock her in a vault of stone. She shall have food, as the custom is, to absolve the state of her death. Yes, and there let her pray to her gods of hell, for those are her only gods. Perhaps they'll show her an escape from death. Or she may learn, though late, that piety shown the dead is piety in vain.
voice of a girl, sea wanderer, forest visitor. Even pure mortals cannot escape you. And one mortal man in his days of dust trembles before your glory.
Surely you swerve upon the ruin, the just man's consenting heart, and see here brought bright anger. The strife between father and son, none has conquered but love. A girl's glance breaking his will of heaven, a pleasure to her alone who monsters, O merciless Aphrodite.
I can no longer stand in all of this, or see where I see keep back my tears. Here's Antigone, passing that chamber where all find sleep at last.
Look upon me, friends, and pity me, turning back at that night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer. And now sleepy death summons me down to Acheron, that cold shore. There's no bride song there, nor any music.
Yet, not unpraised, not without a kind of honor, you walk at last into the underworld, untouched by sickness, broken by no sword. What woman has found your way to death?
How often I have heard the story of Niobe, how the stone clung fast about her, ivy close. The rain falls endlessly. Sifting soft snow, her tears are never done. I can feel the loneliness of her death in mine.
But she was born of heaven, and you are woman born. If her death is not yours, a mortal woman's, is this not for you glory in our world and in the world beyond?
You laugh at me. Friends, can you not wait until I am dead? Oh, thieves, oh men, many chariots and in love with good fortune. Dear springs of dear sea, sacred thieving groves, be witnesses for me. Did not all pity and unjustly judge. And think a word of love for her whose path turned under dark earth, where there are no more tears.
You have passed beyond human daring and come at last into a place of stone, where justice sits. I can't tell what shape of your father's guilt appears in this.
You have touched it at last. That bride bed unspeakable, horror of son and mother mingling. In their crime, infection of all our families. Oh, Oedipus, father and brother, your marriage strikes from the grave to murder mine. I have been a stranger in my own land. All the blasphemy from my birth has followed me.
Reverence is a virtue, but strength lives in established law. That must be veiled. You have made your choice. Your death is the doing of your conscious hand.
Then let me go, since your words are bitter to me, and the very light of the sun is cold to me. Lead me to my vigil, where I must have neither love nor lamentation, no song, but silence.
If dirges and lamentations could put off death, men would be singing forever. Go, some of you, lock her in the vault. And if she lives or dies, that is her affair, not ours. Our hands are clean.
O tomb, O vaulted bride bed and eternal rock, soon I shall be with my own again, where Persephone welcomes the thin ghosts underground. And I shall see my father again, and you, mother, and dearest Polynices. Dearest to me indeed, since it was my hand that washed him clean and poured the ritual wine. My reward is death before my time. And yet, as men's hearts know, I have done no wrong. I have not sinned before God. Or if I have, I shall know the truth in death. But if the guilt lies with Creon who judged me, then I pray, may his punishment equal my own.
Passionate heart, unyielded still by the same winds.
For her gods shall have good cause to regret their delay.
That voice is like the voice of death.
I can give you no reason to think that it shouldn't be.
Oh, thieves, and rulers of Thebes and you, my father's gods. You see me now. I am the last daughter of a line of unhappy kings, your kings, led away to death. You will remember what I have suffered and at what men's hands, since I would not transgress the laws of heaven. Come, let us wait no longer.
All Danae's beauty was locked away in a brazen cell where the sunlight could not come. A small room, still as any grave enclosed her. And yet she was a princess too, and Zeus in a rain of gold poured love upon her. Oh, child, no power in wealth or war, or tough sea-blackened ships can prevail against untiring destiny.
The dry sun, also that furious king, poured the gods prison in anger for his pride, sealed up by Dionysus' death and stone. His madness died among Gecko, so at last he found out what dreadful power his tongue had marked. For he profaned the revels and fought the wrath of the Nile, implacable sisters who love the sound of the flute.
An old man tell a half another tale of horror, for the dark flesh splits the sea, and a double surf beats on the gray shore. A king's new woman, sick with hatred for the queen he had in prison, ripped out his 2 sons' eyes, while grinning Ares watched her shuttle plunge 4 times, 4 blind wounds, crying for revenge.
Crying, tears and blood mingled, piteously born. Those sons whose mother was a heavenly bird. Her father was the god of the north wind. She was cradled by gales. She raced with young colts on the glittering hills. She walked untrembling into the light, buried her marriage. Death find means to build a tomb like yours for all her joy.
This is the way the blind one comes, princes, princes, lockstep, 2 heads lit by the eyes of one.
Ah, oh, Teresa. What new thing have you to tell us?
I have much to tell you. Listen to the prophet, Creon.
Well, I am not aware that I have ever failed to listen.
Then you have done wisely and ruled well.
Yes, and I admit my debt to you. But, what have you to say?
This, Creon, you stand once more on the edge of fate.
What do you mean? Your words are a sense of dread.
Listen, Creon. I was at my chair of augury where the birds gather about me. They were all a chatter, as is their habit, when suddenly I heard a note in their jangling. A scream, a whirring fury. I knew that they were tearing each other, fighting, dying in a whirlwind of wings clashing. And I was afraid. I began the burnt rites to Hephaestus, but instead of bright flame, it was only the sputtering slime of the fat thigh flesh. The entrails dissolved in gray smoke. The bone burst from the welter. And no blaze. This was a sign from heaven. My boy described it for me, seeing for me as I see for others. Creon, you yourself have brought this new calamity upon us. Our hearths and altars are stained with the corruption of dogs and carrion birds. The gods are deaf when we pray to them. Their fire recoils from our offering. Their birds of omen have no cry of comfort. Think, all men make mistakes, but a good man yields when he knows the course is wrong and repairs the evil. The only crime is pride. Give in to the dead man then. Do not fight with a corpse. What glory is it to kill a man that is dead? Think, I beg you. It is for your own good that I speak as I do. You should be able to yield for your own good.
Well, it seems now prophets have made me their especial prophets. All my life long, I've been a kind of butt for the dull arrows of doddering fortune tellers. No, Teresa. If your birds, if the great eagles of God himself swoop down to pick him up, bit by stinking bit, back to heaven, I would not yield. For I am not afraid of pollution. No man can defile the gods. So do as you will. Go into business. Make money. Speculate in that India gold or that new gold from SARS. Get rich otherwise than by my consent to bury her. Teresa. It is a shame when a wise person sells their wisdom. Lets out their words for hire.
Creon, is there no man left?
Oh, come! Let's have the aphorism.
No man who knows that wisdom outweighs any wealth.
As surely as bribes are baser than any baseness.
You are sick, Creon. You are deathly sick.
Oh, as you say, it is not my place to challenge a prophet.
Yet you have said my prophecy is for sale.
Oh, the generations of prophets have always loved gold.
The generation of kings have always loved brass.
You forget yourself. You are speaking to your king.
I know it. You are a king because of me.
Yes. And you have a certain skill. But you are sold out.
Creon, you will drive me to words that—
Say them! Say them! Only remember, I will not pay for them.
No. You will find them too costly.
No doubt. Now speak. Whatever you say shall not change my will.
Then take this, and take it to heart. The time is not far off when you shall pay back. Corpse for corpse, flesh of your own flesh. You have thrust the child of this world into living night. You have kept from the gods below the child that is theirs. One before her grave, the other dead. Denied the grave. This is your crime. And the furies and the dark gods of hell are swift with terrible punishment for you. Do you want to buy me now, Creon? Not many days, and your house will be full of men and women weeping, and curses will be hurled at you from far cities, grieving for sons unburied, left to rot before the walls of Thebes. These are my arrows, Creon. They are all for you. But come, child, lead me home. Let him waste his fine anger upon younger people. Maybe then he will learn to control a wiser tongue in a better head.
The old one's gone, King. I am old too, and I cannot remember a time when they were wrong.
is true, yet it terrifies me. Though it is hard to give in, but it is worse to give everything up for stubborn pride.
Creon, take my advice.
What shall I do?
Free Antigone from her vault. Then build a tomb for the body of Polynices.
You would have me do this.
Creon, yes, and it must be done quickly. God moves swiftly to cancel out the folly of stubborn men.
It is hard to deny the heart, but I won't do it. I will not fight with destiny.
You must go yourself. You cannot leave.
I will go, I will go. Come, bring axes, servants. Come with me to the tomb. I buried her, I shall set her free. My mind misgives. The laws of the gods are mighty, and a man shall obey them until the last day of his life.
God of many names.
O Iaco, son of Cadmean Simile, O born of the thunder, guardian of the west region of Eleusis' plain, O Prince Maenad Thebes of Dragonfields, of rippling as Manos,
God of many names.
The flame of torches flares on our hills. The nymphs of Iacchos dance at the spring of Castalia. From the vine-close mountain, come, I'll come in ivy. Evohe, Evohe, sings through the streets of Thebes.
God of many names.
Iacchos of Thebes, heavenly child of Simile, bride of the thunder, the shadow of plague is upon us.
come with Clement thee, O come from Parnassus down the long slopes across the lamenting water.
Yo, fire, chorister of the throbbing stars, thou purest voice among the night, thou son of God, blaze for us.
Come with cork rapture of circling Maenad to cry. Yo,
Yahweh,
God of many names.
People of the line of Cadmos, you who live near Amphion's citadel, I cannot say of any condition of human life, this is fixed. This is clearly good or bad. Fate raises up and fate casts down the happy and unhappy alike. Take the case of Creon. Creon was happy once, as I count happiness. Victorious in battle, sole governor of the land, fortunate father of children nobly born. And now, it is all gone from him. Who can say that a man is alive if his life's joy fails? He is unhappy. I wouldn't give so much as the shadow of smoke for all that he owns.
Your words hint at sorrow. What is your news for us?
They are dead, and the living are guilty of their deaths.
Who is guilty? Who is dead? Speak.
Haman. Haman is dead, and the hand that killed him is his own.
His father or his own?
His own, driven mad by the murders his father had done.
Tiresias, how clearly you saw it all.
This is my news. You must take what you can from it.
But our queen, Eurydice, has she overheard us?
I have heard something, friends. As I was unlocking the gates of Pallas's shrine, I heard a voice telling of some new sorrow, and I fainted there at the temple with my maidens about me. But speak again, for whatever it is, I can bear it. Grief and I are no strangers.
Dearest lady,
the truth is always best. I went with Creon to the outer plain where Polynices was lying. No friend to pity him, his body shredded by dogs. We made our prayers in that place to Hecate and Pluto that they would be merciful, and we bathed the corpse in holy water, and we brought fresh broken branches to burn what was left of it, and upon the urn we heaped a towering barrow of the earth of his own soil, and when we were done, we ran to the vault where Antigone lay. One of the soldiers had gone ahead, and while he was yet far off, he heard a voice grieving within the chamber. He came back and told Creon, and as the king drew closer, the air was full of wailing, the words lost, and he begged us to make all haste. Am I a prophet? He said, and must I walk this road, the saddest of all that I have gone before? Oh, quickly, quickly, look through this crevice there, and tell me if it is Haman or some deception of the gods. We obeyed, and in the cavern's farthest corner, we saw her lying. She had made a noose of her fine linen veil and hanged herself. And Haman lay beside her, his arms about her waist, lamenting her, his love lost underground, crying out that his father had stolen her from him. When Creon saw him, the tears rushed to his eyes. Oh, child, what are you thinking that makes your eyes so strange? Oh, my son, I come to you on my knees. But Haman spat in his face. He said not a word, staring, and suddenly he drew his sword and lunged. Creon shrank back. The blade missed, and the boy, desperate against himself, drove it half its length into his own side. And he fell. And as he lay dying, he gathered Antigone close in his arms, his blood bright red on her white cheek. And now he is dead with the dead, and she is his at last, his bride in the house of the dead.
She has left us without a word. What can this mean?
It troubles me too, yet she knows what is best. Her grief is too great for public lamentation, and doubtless she has gone to lead her maidens in her son's dirge.
This may be true, but I fear this deep silence.
I will go in. I will check on her.
Here's Creon, dragging his damnation with his own hand.
Nothing you can say can touch me anymore. My own blind heart has brought me from darkness to final darkness. Here you see the father murdering the murdered son and all my civic wisdom. My son, so young to die. truth is hard to bear. Surely some God has crushed me beneath the hugest weight of heaven and driven me headlong a barbaric way to trample out the thing that I held most dear. Pains that men would hate come to pay.
The burden you bear is heavy, but it is not all. You will find more in your house.
What burden worse than this shall I find there?
The queen is dead.
Dear God. Is there no pity for me? And you, angel of evil, I was dead, and your words are death again. Tell me this isn't true. Is my wife dead? Is death come from death?
You can see for yourself.
All true, and more than I can bear. My wife, my son.
She stood before the altar, and her heart welcomed the knife her own hand guided. And as she fell, a great cry burst from her lips, for Megarius dead, and for Haman dead. Her sons, and her last breath was a curse for their father, the murderer of her sons. And she fell. And darkness flowed in from her closing eyes.
I am sick with fear. Are there no swords here? Has no one a blow for me?
Her curse is upon you for the deaths of both.
It is right that it should be. I alone am guilty. I know it, and I say it. Leave me never see the light of day again.
All of that will come when it will. Meanwhile, we have much to do.
Oh, my heart was in that prayer.
And do not pray anymore. The sky is deaf.
Leave me. I've been rash and foolish. I've killed both my wife and my son. I look for comfort, but my comfort lies here. Here. Everything that my hands have touched have come to nothing. Fate has brought all my pride to a fraught of death.
There is no happiness where there is no wisdom. No wisdom but in submission to the gods. Big words are always punished. And proud men in old age learn to be wise.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.